Greetings from chess.com. Today is the birthday of Indian superstar Grandmaster Koneru Hampi. I'm going to share some of her best games with you and also acquaint you with a brief list of her accomplishments. So she was born on 31st March 1987. She is the current women's world rapid champion and she became a GM at a very young age, and when she became a GM that was a record in itself, and that record was later broken by Huifar. So Koneru Hampi became a GM at the age of 15 years, 1 month and 27 days. And now I'm going to give you a list of her accomplishments. I would also like to share that she's been conferred with the Arjuna Award as well as the Padma Shri Award in 2003 and 2007. And she was the Asia's youngest woman international master and India's youngest woman grandmaster. And in the recent years, she has got a lot of good results. And those include the Online Chess Olympiad as well as the Cairns Cup. She is currently employed by ONGC. And just last week, she was awarded the Indian Sportsman of the Year by BBC, which is also a great accomplishment. So when I shared that I'm doing this series on chess.com India's YouTube channel about we are covering all the Indian grandmasters, she was very kind enough to share her list of best games. And in addition to that, she also shared some of her favorite stuff. She said that she really liked the movie based on the life of G.R. Gopinath. And when I asked about her favorite book, she said that Chetan Bhagat was one writer she used to read in her teenage years. And you can also see that she has shared her favorite colors. And she really liked the songs from the movie Roja. So I have the first game featuring Koneru Hampi's game against Wenjun, and she mentioned that she really liked the way she played the end game in this game, but I want to show you one critical moment after h6 and give you a chance to see what you would do as white. White has two good moves in this position, and what would you do if you were white? So here knight e6 is good enough in this position, but Koneru Hampi played h4 because black cannot take the knight as white will take hg5, and then there is a dangerous threat. For example, after hg5, if you play bishop h6, there is rook takes h6, and after king g7, there is a mate in one with rook d g6. So after h4, her opponent played rook f6, and in this position she played knight f7 check, and after king h7 she saw that this knight on d4, if this is exchanged, then black's position will be crumbling. So she played knight e2, and this knight can't really find a good square. Even if you give a check, white king will just come to d2 and then knight has to run again. So in this position her opponent played b5, and after knight g5 check, king h8, knight d4, e4, she played bishop b3, and this position is already very much better to white. The problem in this position for black is that these are too many targets, and black cannot defend them all in just one move. And after rook takes d6, she played knight f7 check and then captured the rook on d6, and then we reach a critical position after king g5. Take a moment to see what you would do as white. I would also suggest that you use this position as a training game position. You can set this position up against your friend and try to see if you can win with the white pieces. In this position, white is better because of these two pawns, because the bishop, we have a bishop which is a flight square bishop, of flight square, and this bishop is capable to attack these two pawns in the long run. And just because of this particular weakness, white is able to win this game. Of course, there is an element of principle of two weaknesses that comes in the game, but here it's very important to find the winning plan featuring a pawn break. White has to play a4, and she does this in the game. The point being that after a4 you also make space for the rook to come to a line, and thereby it can come to a6 and target c6 even further. So after a4 her opponent played a6, and after ab she played rook e3, and after h5 king d2 bishop f5 rook a6. Black really cannot be very happy with rook g2 because white has to give up rook c6. But this was the way to go. Wenjun had to play rook into g2 to try and create some counterplay on the king side, but she played rook c7, and after that Koneru Hampi was able to win very convincingly. But I really like the thematic idea that comes after king d3, king f7, rook a8, bishop f6, this position. So here what would you do as white? I really like the way in which Koneru Hampi displays remarkable understanding of this position by sacrificing the pawn with e5. So it's all part of a very long-term plan, because after e5 this bishop can now see directly, it can keep an eye on the c6 pawn, and once that is cleared, this white king can also come to e4. So you might be asking, okay, why did black play bishop f6 to give e5? Now let's say if black plays king e7, then white has this bishop g6 followed by f3, and there is always this annoying rook e8 check in the air. So after bishop f6, e5, bishop e5, she played rook a6 and then bishop g6 and then got her bishop to f3. Now this is a weakness, we all know, but then this is also a weakness, and then once the pawn on f4 falls, then the white pawn on f2 becomes a passed pawn. So that is what happens in the game. She slowly captures both the pawns using the theme Zugzwang, and then the f pawn will just run and it will be a winning position. So that's what happened, and her opponent resigned after f5 because there is no way to stop this, and she won the game. The next example I have is from her game against Pia Kramling, where Koneru Hampi was black. I'm coming to a critical position after f4. What would you do as black? I think it's a very instructive position. So if you take into account white's position, you can see most of the pieces are on the first rank, and it feels like this move pawn to f4 is a weakening move, but you have only one way to exploit it, and it has to be done instantly, which she does. She plays pawn to e5. Now the point is, after e5 the bishop also can come to f5 in the long run, and if let's say white takes fe5, then after fe5 rook e5, black can play bishop d6 followed by bishop f5, and if you manage to defend this pawn on d3 with bishop f1, then black can bring the queen to f6 and connect the rooks, and now when queen g6 is coming, black is very much ahead in development and is going to win the game. So after f4 e5, her opponent Pia Kramling played knight d2, and then after ef4 gf4, she exchanges off this bishop, which is part of white's defense, so bishop c6, and then after f5, eventually she gets to exchange the pieces. And after a few moves, she reaches this position, and just because this king on g1 is weak, black is able to create a lot of threats. Plus the pawn on c5 is also very dependent. So considering all these elements of 2 plus weaknesses, black is able to win. So again, I really like the way how she kept it very simple. She got her king to f8, and then there's always a possible transposition to a queen endgame, which is very much in black's favor because all the pawns are hanging, and that's what happens in this position after rook e1 check. She repeats the move so that she can reach move number 40, and then every pawn just falls. For example, after queen g4, this pawn falls, and let's say you play king g1, and then even this pawn falls, and then the c6 pawn is also protected. There is no way for white to get a perpetual here because black's king can hide different places, and then she went on to win this game. After queen c1, her opponent in this position, queen e2 check, her opponent resigned. Then I have another game which happened in 2019 in a women's Grand Prix event, and she was white in this game against Alina Kashlinskaya, and the critical position is after queen c2, bishop d7, a3, bishop a5, b4, and then rook e1. Now after bishop c6, the pawn on d4 is attacked, so she simply plays rook c d1, and in this position black should actually play bishop into e4. It's, I think, very necessary, or at least play rook c8 and pin this bishop, but she played queen to c7, and this gives white a way to win immediately. So take a moment to see what you would do as white. In this position, white has a killer move, which Koneru Hampi plays knight eg5, threatening queen h7 check. And in this position, if you take h5, there is knight g5 again, and queen h7 is not possible to stop. If you play a move like g6, then there is knight takes f7, completely blowing up the cover, and then if you take king takes f7, there is rook takes e6, threatening queen g6 and a possible discovered check. So after knight g5, her opponent played bishop takes f3, and this is move number 18. And in just 2 moves, she was able to win. So take a moment to see what you would do as white. The computer says it's mate in 10, but her opponent resigned in just 2 moves, and there's no way to stop the upcoming mate. She plays queen h7 check, and after king f8, again a good moment to see what you would do as white. There are different moves possible in this position, but the move that she played in the game is the most convincing, and it leads to the quickest checkmate. So she plays a rook takes e6, taking away the squares e7 and e8 from the king, and now threatening queen h8 mate. If you take f into e6 in this position, you need not even play knight e6. You can just play queen h8 check, and then queen takes g7, and then after queen check, a mate follows with queen f6 followed by bishop f7. If you go king d7, there is a mate with queen e6. So that's the reason why after bishop f3, queen h7 checking f8, rook e6, her opponent resigned. So I hope that you loved these games. The last one was my personal pick. The other 2 games were the ones that she sent us. And so join me in wishing Grandmaster Koneru Hampi a very happy birthday. So may your year be filled with a lot of happiness and success. And thank you for doing all that you are doing for Indian chess. So dear chess folks, I hope you like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're here for the first time, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care. Bye bye.